The director of the National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, took questions outside the White House this morning about the president's speech. He was asked when the economy will become the, quote, Trump economy. And that's because just last night, President Trump blamed the Biden administration for the nation's issues.
At what point does it become the Trump economy? Well, it's a Trump economy now. Our policies are changing people's lives. But when are we going to be able to point to numbers and say that we fixed the problem, we filled the hole that Biden dug? You know, that'll depend on what things. So, for example, we're way past success on eggs. But there are other things that are going to take longer.
Okay, let's go live to CBS News MoneyWatch correspondent Kelly O'Grady. And Kelly, you track the data, so what's your reaction to what Hassett had to say?
You know, the data says a couple of different things, and in many ways, Hassett is right. One of the biggest reasons why people don't feel good about the economy is because when you look at a 5-year period, so this would go back to under the Biden administration, you had inflation cumulatively rising since then 24.5% over that 5 years, right? Prices have risen 24.5%, but wages have not kept up with that pace. And normally you like to see your wages rise more than prices. And that's what gives you the ability to buy more things. Instead, people are feeling really crunched. And so you go back to the summer of 2022 when inflation was 9+%. That's part of the reason why people feel crunched. And it takes a long time to dig out of that. Yeah. On the flip side, though, Ouija mentioned tariffs as a policy. That hasn't made prices cheaper, right? I mean, for businesses, it's been a lot to absorb. We have seen some goods go up in price. It hasn't been a runaway, but it hasn't helped that crunch for Americans. And then the final thing is, look, Hassett says it's going to take a while. You know who does not have a lot of patience? The American voter. Yeah, they don't think about things often on that 5-year term. They think about it as, how do I feel right now? And who is going to change things right now? So it is true, but also a tough thing to be up against. These things take time, but voters want to feel that immediate reaction because they see what the grocery bill is and they remember what it was 5 years ago.
And Kelly, breaking just this morning, a new read on inflation. What do the numbers tell us? And more importantly, what does it mean for our wallets?
Well, the good news is that inflation looked a lot better than it did 2 months ago. Remember, this report, as well as October, was delayed because of the government shutdown. So the last time that we got data was September, and inflation stood at 3% right now, back then. We saw it drop to 2.7% today. That was a really big surprise, and we're moving in the direction towards the Fed's 2% target. It doesn't mean prices are dropping. It just means that they are rising at a slower rate than they were. You peel back the onion, there were a number of products, though, that actually did see a price decrease. Things like pork chops, eggs, fruits. But then on the flip side, a lot saw a huge price increase. Beef, as people are thinking about their holiday dinners, were up over 15%. You also saw electricity, utility gas, fuel oil. People are heating their homes. This winter, it was in high single digits or double digit increases in terms of the annual look at how prices are moving. So what does it mean for your wallet? Some things got more expensive, some things got less expensive. What it does mean for the Fed, though, is it reinforces that decision to prioritize the weakness in the labor market and cut interest rates last week.
All right, Kelly O'Grady, thank you so much.